very good evening, everyone, and a warm welcome from the KnowledgeHut team. Thank you for joining us for today's session, and we are glad to have you with us. So, I would like to quickly introduce our speaker for today, who is Ms. Geethalakshmi. A CSP SM is a diversified leader with 12 years of rich experience and is known for maintaining a track record of successfully improving the growth of many companies in the life sciences and pharmaceutical industry. Our areas of specialization are client management, product management, business development, project management, and stakeholder management. So without any further delay, I would like to hand over the session to Ms. Geeta.
Good evening, Soumya. Thank you for the introduction. Good evening, team members who have joined this webinar. This is Dr. Geethalakshmi from Bangalore, India. Today, first of all, I would like to extend a warm welcome and thanks so much for joining this webinar in middle of your busy schedule. I hope I will be able to deliver the learning objective as we have committed in the KnowledgeHut website. So this webinar is about the resistance towards a Scrum framework that any company that is newly introducing the Scrum into their organization will face, and how a Scrum Master should be able to overcome those resistance, and how the Scrum Master will deliver the high value product or good results to the organization and to the customer community. So this is what I'm going to discuss today, and you can note down all your questions towards the end of the webinar. You're free to ask your questions. I will answer them. So let's move on to the presentation. So can anyone tell me about what is meant by the Scrum framework?
Scrum is like related to management related things, if I am correct. Like how to organize, how to manage a company, something related to that.
Okay. Thank you, Venkateshwari, for your inputs. Yes, you're right. It is. It helps the organization. It helps the projects. It is nothing but a Scrum is a lightweight framework that helps the team or people or organization to generate value through adaptive solutions for complex problems. Scrum is nothing but an advanced version of a project management framework, actually. So in olden days and currently also, we follow Waterfall method as a project management methodology. So this slide, you can see the difference between the Waterfall approach and Scrum framework. So you can see in the left side, Waterfall has the biggest, the project deliverable. The volume is big actually. So the project people who are working on that, project management people, it's very difficult for them to pull the whole weight actually. In the right side, you can see small chunks of the work. The heavy project is divided into small chunks. And finally, it is increment by increment, like 1 increment, 2 increment, 3rd, 4, 5, 6, 7, like that. It is building the entire project slowly. So this is nothing but the Scrum framework. So it looks very easy. It looks very easy framework, but it is very difficult to master. So in this webinar, we'll see what type of problems that a team will encounter when Scrum is introduced. So whenever an organization introduces Scrum framework in their team or projects, so the team will get, they will discuss among themselves, they will be under chaos and they have so many questions in their mind. So obviously some members will accept the change. If they accept the change, it is well and good. Some members will not accept the change. They will resist towards the Scrum. And the only one advice for the Scrum Master is we have to treat this resistance as a normal phenomenon. We have to treat it as a normal one. We should not, the Scrum Master and the management should not be against to those people who resisted. Sometimes when a resistance is observed, we need to probe in depth. What is the reason for the resistance? Maybe that will have a red flag to us, that will give a red flag to the management. Maybe some underlying cause will be there. Unless and until the Scrum Master probe into depth, he or she will not know the reason for the resistance. So I would say that resistance gives us an opportunity to analyze or investigate the situation. So it is any change in an organization is very normal. Organization introduces many changes. One among the change can be Scrum. So change is always hard. Even if you consider an individual, if for example the person he commutes daily to office by bus, suddenly he was asked to commute by train. So that is a change in the commuting way. So that will cause some problem to that person because he is not used to travel by train. Likewise, we have to consider here. So Scrum is all about the change. So to be successful, the team must learn to embrace the change. And as you know, Scrum framework provides all kinds of tools to adapt Scrum framework. So whenever the organization leaders have to react in a way, respond in a way that will understand the employees or the members' problem and address it professional way. So any organization change is inevitable because we cannot predict the customer behavior, or we do not know what a competitor will introduce a new product. So everybody has to embrace a change. So if newly a Scrum is introduced, some member will think Scrum is cool in theory, but it will never work in our environment. Or sometimes they think that the developers running the show. Okay, there is no manager. And sometimes they will say there are so many meetings because it may lead to a waste of time. Sometimes they say they don't document it anywhere, so it's like chaos. So this is all their individual belief about the Scrum. So Scrum requires a mindset shift actually. So it is not just following some methodology and application, but it requires a mindset shift. For example, in Scrum framework, there is no accountability called manager. The team has to be self-organizing, cross-functional team. Scrum team is a self-organized and cross-functional team. So there is no manager to supervise the work. So these are all the reasons that may cause some, unexplainable worries or concerns with the managers or with the top management who are used to do command and control the team members. So next we will see how a change need to be approached. Right? So here is a Scrum team. They say that we will not adopt Scrum. We are not ready to adopt Scrum. So in that case, a Scrum Master should not forcefully, inculcate the Scrum framework into the employees. Instead, a Scrum Master should follow a doctor's approach. When we go to a doctor with some problem, for example, fever, doctor will not immediately give you medicines. He will see the symptoms that is shown from the patient, but he will do some investigations like X-ray or blood test or like measuring the temperature, and he will find out the root cause. So root cause analysis only will give rise to a solution. As you see here, solution is found. So this is the approach that any Scrum Master should follow. He should not, compel the team member to follow the Scrum immediately because Scrum implementation takes more time. It is not an easy thing. Scrum will look like very simple, but it is very hard. And let me explain you the types of why the resistance is coming and what type of resistance in the upcoming slide. So this is a theory about resistance. If you see in the left side, there are like two types of people, followers and diehards. And in the right side, skeptics and saboteurs. The left side is the people, they do not hate Scrum, but they like the status quo. Means they want to follow the existing method. They don't want to change. So in the right side, those people, they don't like Scrum actually. They are against the Scrum framework. So these four types of people are there. So each act of resistance carries with it information about how people feel about adopting Scrum. As a change agent, a Scrum Master, goal should be to understand the root cause, and address the issues accordingly. So this slide is showing the classification of resistance. Like we can see four types of resistance. The first one is logical, second one is emotional. If it is a logical resistance means, I mean, any team member, any Scrum team member who is showing resistance, having some logical reasons. So in that case, Scrum Master can adapt a two-way communication, like what is the reason, how does he feel, why he is feeling, not okay with this Scrum. All those powerful questions Scrum Master can ask the team member. And second thing is logical reasoning. He can provide some data. He can provide some data, fact sheet about the past projects in which Scrum framework had delivered a very good result. So those kind of fact-based discussion or logical reasoning will help to overcome this logical resistance. In the second category, we can see it as emotional. If the resistance is emotional, no logic can explain the members about the value of the Scrum. In that case, first, the Scrum Master has to acknowledge the resistance from the Scrum team. And slowly, a Scrum Master can explain about the values of the Scrum and the benefits that an organization get out of it. So one by one value, he can explain to the team member. Once the team member understands the value of the Scrum, then the Scrum Master can talk about logic things like sharing the fact sheets or sharing the results of a previous projects. So the Scrum team member will slowly understand the Scrum framework and the benefits out of it. Once the member understands the benefit of the Scrum, then the Scrum Master can enter into an agreement. Agreement means it's not like a permanent one, very a basic agreement that they will follow the Scrum framework. And based on the agreement, the Scrum Master can get some commitment. It should be taken in a slow manner. We cannot rush in this process. So we have to give the time to the member unless and until he understands the value and accepts to give a commitment, etc. And the second type of resistance is coming from within the team actually. See, within the team means it is basically the one of the team member would have already implemented Scrum framework in their previous projects, but the results were not good. Maybe that is one of the reason. Or they don't have enough knowledge actually. The particular member or members of the Scrum team, they don't have enough knowledge about the Scrum framework. Like because normally a Scrum Master courses, like or any other agile coach will spend few days to coach or teach the team about the Scrum framework. But this few days will not be enough for the Scrum team to understand the values, principles, etc. because it needs more deeper understanding. So lack of knowledge will create a fear or some anxiety among the team members, so they may resist the change. And the other type is it is from the organization. This is very difficult to manage because in an organization, various other team is there. Those team may not implement Scrum framework in their work. In that case, the Scrum Master alone cannot manage the or overcome the resistance. He or she has to take support from the management. He has some leverage from other agile coach, etc. So in that case, the Scrum Master can be more transparent about the values and benefits, and slowly only this situation will change. For example, once the Scrum team follows the framework. The adjacent team may not follow the Scrum framework. So the adjacent team may create problems for the Scrum team because they don't they don't follow the Scrum framework, and they are worried about this particular team performance. They will think that this Scrum framework team is very slow and they have so many meetings and all. So they may be disturbed by that. So in this case, the organization has to implement the Scrum throughout the organization. So it is very difficult, but slowly the situation will change actually. So under the root cause analysis is nothing but the Scrum Master has to deep dive into the situation or the problem. Why this issue is coming? What is the root cause of it? You know, I hope you have heard 5 why concept, like why. So getting to the root of the issues. So this is very important to overcome the resistance. First thing could be the lack of knowledge. As I told, the very difficult to get the deep understanding of the mindsets, value, and underlying principles within 2 days of training. And sometimes a daily Scrum becomes a status update to the senior most person. Obviously, we're losing the value here. Daily Scrum should be among the team developers. They have to discuss on what they have done and what they are going to do today and what any impediments are there. So it is like they have to discuss, not like a status update to the senior most person in the group. And second thing, cultural issues. Cultural issues in this sense, I can say that like old waterfall methodology to Scrum framework, because the organization itself would have been adapted to the waterfall method. So, so they will not have trust on the Scrum framework, and they don't value the collaboration, and also like the command and control thinking. These three will lead to problems with the Scrum framework adaptation in the company. Next, as I told, there won't be any reason, but they don't like the change actually. As we discussed in the previous slide, they don't like the change. And sometimes the wrong mindset. For example, managers will say that we don't have a control, we will lose the control and authority when the Scrum framework is implemented. Because the team is self-organized, they don't depend on any managers here. I'm not saying that managers are not here, but they will not fit into the Scrum framework. They will be like some other hierarchy in the organization, but they will not come inside the Scrum team. And for an employee or a Scrum team member, what would be the problem with the mindset is they lack knowledge. They lack knowledge about the Scrum framework, so they have a fear of unknown. And also collaboration. Collaboration is very important in Scrum framework. Some people who are introverts, they don't like collaboration. They will be very good in working as an individual, but they will not be very much willing to work with a team like a Scrum team. So these are all some maneuvers or techniques that a Scrum Master can do in order to revive the Scrum framework implementation in an organization. First of all, he or she has to establish an agile workplace culture. The bureaucracy has to be broken, because the bureaucracy in a way it is good, but sometimes it will lead to slowing of the decision making. And also like because in the existing setup, they all depend on one single senior person to take the decision. But in Scrum, they don't wait for anyone. The developers take decisions. Developers are in charge of the increment or the job done. So they have to make faster decisions. And also workflow has to be streamlined. There should not be any delay, or at the same time, while taking decision, proper consideration to be given for any impediments, but not exceeding like going for 2 weeks or 3 weeks to take a decision. And this transformation is not an easy process. It is a long-term process. So Agile coach or Scrum Master should continue giving coaching, training, or one-on-one discussion, asking powerful questions. So they have to support the entire transformation. And one more very good technique, what a Scrum Master can do is, see, when a team is used to the existing flow of work, they will not be ready to accept any challenge. So in between, the Scrum Master or the organization management can introduce some minor changes, so that they can monitor the team, how they're taking the change, how they're adapting to the change. All those things they can monitor properly, so that when a real change is coming, like Scrum framework implementation, the team will be able to cope up with the change. So it's like sensitizing through vaccines. See, the vaccines, what they inject is, they inject either the dead form of virus or the live form of virus in a small quantity, so that our human body will be sensitized with the virus and we develop the immunity slowly. Like that, the team has to be sensitized with the minor changes. And also the Scrum Master by himself has to be an example. For example, transparency, openness. Here, openness means it's not like transparent. Transparency and openness is different. Transparency is that the visibility should be there for all the team members, whereas the openness is the mindset. He or she should be ready to learn the new changes. So that that Scrum Master should set by Scrum Master by himself has to set an example of learning new things, everyday learning. And here, empowering of the individuals is very important, because if the individual is not empowered to make decisions, the Scrum framework will not work, because the team has to be self-organized and they should not be reporting to anyone or asking some advice from anyone. And also, like Scrum Master should not dive himself into the problem and give a solution. They have to wait for the team to identify their problems, to identify the root cause and find out the solution. So the Scrum Master have to wait for the team to come up with a solution. Scrum Master by himself should not give a solution. And here, this is another, this is an additional techniques that a Scrum Master can utilize. First one is empathy. So And empathy is that, first of all, the team is undergoing lots of changes. So there will be chaos and there will be disturbances. So anyone will like to be heard. Like a Scrum Master has to learn patiently about the issues and the problems that the Scrum team is undergoing right now, so that the team will slowly develop the trust on the Scrum Master. And when the trust is gained, it is easy to train them or coach them to adapt this Scrum framework in their daily work. And also engage to connect. See, the Scrum Master should not say immediately to the team member, you have to change. But initially, he has to connect with the team members. He has to do not with an intention to change, but to connect and understand the team actually. And whenever there is a goal or a challenge is placed, the team member will look for into different ways how to reach the goal or how to achieve the overcome the challenge. So if there is a set goal, proper set goal, then the team members will meet often to get the updates, to discuss among the progress, everything. So there should be a shared agreement or goal to understand how the team dynamics work actually. So a goal has to be set initially among the team members, so that they will start meeting regularly. So it's nothing but a daily scrum. And we will see some more technique what a Scrum Master can implement. For example, main thing I have heard so far or I have read so far is they find difficult, Scrum team find difficulty in maintaining the time box. For example, daily Scrum will be of 15 minutes. Sometimes they exceed the 15 minutes. That is because they don't have the clarity on the agenda and they don't know the importance of the daily Scrum. They start discussing about the impediments, how to overcome all those things. So first of all, the Scrum team should understand the purpose of the daily Scrum. Let it be daily Scrum or sprint review or sprint retrospective, the time boxing to be strictly followed. And sometimes they think that agile meetings, so many meetings are there, it is not conducted correctly. So Scrum Master should ensure that any single meeting, let it be daily Scrum or sprint review or sprint planning or retrospective, should add or give value to each participant so that the quality and productivity of the team increases. And sometimes a team Scrum framework team, so far they have not been used to being transparent. So they will get some fear. If I put all the status in the transparent way, so that it is visible to everyone, whether my mistake will be revealed or any problem that is in the project will be revealed to the management. So all those things will bother them, so that they don't want to become any transparency. So in this case, the Scrum Master should take help from the senior management and help the Scrum team to follow the transparency. And also, like as I mentioned earlier, sometimes the lack of the agile or Scrum training is also a reason for the resistance. For that case, the Scrum Master can be a very good coach or mentor so that they train. And any Scrum team will take at least 3 to 6 months to understand the Scrum framework. And it will take months together to form a proper Scrum team. Sometimes the team member will be skipping the meetings, like daily Scrum is not useful because it is a waste of my time. I am doing my work properly. But that should not be said. The Scrum Master should be very firm about the meetings, and also like they should be focused. And sometimes the Scrum team would be a Scrum team who is involved in the project will be following the Scrum framework, but the stakeholders will not know what is Scrum. So they have to make the stakeholders aligned in this Scrum framework so that they will understand, and the stakeholders will not have any fear. For example, customer will not have any fear. So sometimes the Scrum team need to invite the customers or other stakeholders and give brief training or coaching about the Scrum framework. So basically, a Scrum Master should go into the depth and have to work with the team rather than like managing the work. So he is not a manager; he is a Scrum Master. So there is no manager terminology in the Scrum framework. And here one major difference is among the traditional project management or the Scrum framework is in other project management methodologies, individual performances are highlighted by the human resource and the individual performances are rewarded and the employees get the salary hikes or other benefits. Whereas Scrum team, the team as a whole has to represent the outcome of the project. So it's the overall performance that is important for the company, not an individual. So that should be explained to the human resource, or everybody should be aligned in this concept actually. Because sometimes the team will not be acceptable. They want to take individual credit. So that cannot happen in the Scrum team. It is a group performance. And sometimes the senior management themselves will not support the implementation of the Scrum. In that case, the Scrum Master has to get first aligned with the senior management and find out their problems and to give a solution and to explain the values of the Scrum. He can use the values, 5 values of the Scrum, and that values can help the Scrum Master to explain the benefits of the Scrum. And because the team members were already used to waterfall management, sometimes the clash will come between the waterfall or Scrum. So Scrum Master can patiently wait and he can advocate the benefits of the Scrum, but by sharing the data from the previous project, etc. So this is nothing, but this slide is very important. It's very interesting. Satir's change model actually. It is a model. It's a study actually. It's a pattern how change when introduced newly in a company, what and all status the employees will undergo. So first stage is the late status quo. In this, the employees and the team members, they don't want to change anything. They want to be in the same situation, and they will work harder and harder, and they will get tired at one point of time. They think that okay, the existing methodology is not working anymore. For example, a software management, or for example, a vaccine for COVID. So the existing project methodology will not work. So they will come at this point. At this point, they will understand that the existing methodology will not work anymore. In that case, the management should introduce the foreign element. Foreign element here is nothing but the Scrum. So initially, the resistance will be more from the team member. Then slowly, they will start. At one point of time, they must utilize the Scrum framework. They cannot ignore it. So they will start following the Scrum framework, and it will increase the confusions and chaos initially. But at one point of time, they will slowly realize the benefits of the Scrum. At that time, you will start getting ideas about the transformation. From this chaos to transforming idea will come. So after that, they will understand that they will begin trusting the Scrum framework. So they all will work together, practice together, integrate together, and they will see a very good results in their project actually. So in this stage, the Scrum Master role is very essential because as I told, Scrum learning is Scrum theory is very easy but very difficult to master it. So a Scrum framework has to be established in a very perfect, correct manner. Incomplete Scrum will not be helpful in a long-term run. So the learning also has to be happen, and some coaching also to be given to the team members who are in the integration process. And finally, they will attain a new status quo. Again, some confusions and thing will be there, but the team will be slowly moving towards the growth of the projects. So, and new status quo is nothing but the Scrum team started utilizing the Scrum framework. At this stage, again, the organization has to support with more coaching and more training, etc. So it is not that very difficult framework to implement because there are many other difficult things that human beings have achieved. Okay, let it be space research or medical research or anything. We have achieved more than this. So I believe that this change can be implemented easily with some time, like 3 to 6 months time, we have to dedicate, and with a mindset shift. So these are some practical tips I'm giving. So Scrum is the easiest but hardest framework. And as I told, open-mindedness is to be required for 3 to 6 months. And the word simplicity. Simplicity is the Agile manifesto, is one of the principles. They say simplicity, but it takes years to do it well actually. So the terminology is elegantly deceptive. It is misleading the audience, but it is very difficult. And also like they are the team member or accustomed to the old methodology, like a project waterfall methodology. So it will take time to unlearn the bad habits. So any questions so far?
Ma'am, this was regarding the Scrum meetings, like they usually, we have said that it's supposed to be 15 minutes, this is my third company where we are working, but there has never been a time where the actually is time boxed. It always exceeds, So how do we ensure that it is within? Uh, Obviously, like team members, we don't have that ideal 9-member team. Like we have a bigger team, so it takes a lot of time to just share, what was done yesterday and like what are we supposed to do today, and if there is
Okay.
anything blocked in. So how do we time box that?
Thank you for the question. See, a daily scrum should be, it's a time box. What is meant by time box mean? Maximum time is 15 minutes. If you are completed within 5 minutes, it is okay. We can leave, all can disperse. But the maximum time given is 15 minutes. It cannot exceed even a 1 minute. So there is some discipline required to follow all this Scrum framework. Because a daily a Scrum team, as you know, is a very small team, around 8 to 10 members. In that, one product owner, one Scrum Master, remaining all are developers. So since it is a self-organizing team, so one by one, a Scrum Master should not ask, okay, A please talk, B please talk, like that. So A has to come forward and talk about the yesterday's progress shortly and today's progress. Like the team has to self-organize and give the discuss about the project actually. And agenda, for example, I normally I give daily scrum. We follow the daily scrum at 9:10 a.m. in my uh, office. At 9:10, everybody will assemble there to discuss about the activities. At 9:05, we all sit and write about the agenda, what I'm going to discuss, especially what I'm going to discuss in the daily scrum, that we note down in the points. So when agenda is clear, definitely we will not exceed the time limit. And sometimes another reason to extend the daily scrum is they will start discussing about the problem in detail actually. So when you start discussing about one topic in detail, automatically the time will flow. You will not realize that. That is one of the reasons. And how we can prevent it is like see, there is one sign like ELMO, enough, let's move on, means somebody can monitor the time and they can say, okay, let's move on. Let us park this issue so that we can visit the issue later and we'll discuss in detail. So these are all the things can be followed, and the main responsibility or accountability is the Scrum Master. So it may be 1 or 2 days the team may fail, but in future this will be all right, set right with some practice, regular practice.
Okay, let me try from Monday then.
Definitely.
I have one more
Yeah.
question. I don't know if this is relevant.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm working as a Scrum Master, but I'm handling almost, there are 5 or 6 projects, and it's very tough to handle it this way. So how do I ensure that, I'm doing my efficiently and being productive?
Okay.
Like my entire day like just goes off, and then in the end of the day, I feel like what was I doing?
Okay. Okay. So one Scrum Master for many projects. Is my understanding
Hmm.
correct?
Yes.
Okay. See, Scrum Master role is very, very essential. It's like a heart, our heart. So you have to be dedicated to the team. Wherever you are connected, you have to be dedicated to them. You should be there for them always, whenever they need you, actually. So try to optimize your workload. Maybe one more Scrum Master can be given. This you can delegate some work to other Scrum Masters. Like that, you can check actually. Because handling multiple team also will lead to some confusions. For example, team A, you are working, they found an impediment, they need your support. So that time team C also will be having the same issues. So it involves some practice, and it involves some manpower mapping also, like how many projects you can handle in a day. You can make it as some with the past experiences, how a Scrum Master, what are all the what are all the task lists that you do in a day. You can maintain it, and you can explain to your uh, the management about the day, how you spent, and how the teams are suffering. Basically, it is not doing overwork, but at the same time, team also will be suffering. Whenever they need, you have to be there. So that also would be compromised. So you can start negotiating with the management also by having the manpower mapping, that is the record what you have done so far and how much work you can. This is not specific for the Scrum. It is any manager will have, any project manager, Scrum Master or product owner will have this problem. This is not specific to the Scrum framework, but making some records every day what you're working, how much time you're spending in each activity, and how many hours are there for you to work. So that experience with some data you can explain with your management.
Okay, thank you.
With some data, if you prove, they will understand clearly. Because if in your mind only you have this, nobody will understand it. So if you explain with some data, they will understand easily.
Yeah, okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome,
Yes.
anytime.
Hello.
Thank you,
Am I audible?
Jaswinder.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have one question. Like as you mentioned, related to this stand-up, we shouldn't go by person A to B and calling their names. So what happened in our stand-ups? Scrum Master has to open the Jira board and share the screen. And to tackle if there are more than like 8 members in the team, how to tackle it? Should Scrum Master share the screen and go person by person? Is the ideal way we are following actually? Can you correct and give us a good suggestion like
Yeah.
how we know the status?
Okay. It could be in any way because it is just a daily scrum you are discussing about the progress only. So you can start from alphabetical order also, or sometimes they have a technique, they have a ball in their hand. For example, Geeta, first I will tell about the daily scrum information to others, and then I'll throw the ball into Soumya. So Soumya will start talking. Like the Soumya will put into Venkatesh like that. So the ball will be whoever gets the ball, they have to talk like that. That also can be done, or alphabetical order also can be done. There is no, see, Scrum is a framework only, like photo frame. It is like a photo frame. So photo frame is standard size actually, dimension is standard. But inside what photo, how many small photo hard copies you can put, that is your choice actually. So they kept the Scrum framework as a, it's not a complete one. It is intentionally Scrum framework is kept incomplete because we need to find out a way that is suitable for our work style, work culture. So Scrum says that you need to have a daily Scrum for 15 minutes. That is it. And how you are going to conduct, whether you are going to conduct through Jira or you're going to conduct in the visual, hard, for example, status board in a typical whiteboard or a sticky notes, it's left up to you. So you can follow any method. That's not an issue at all.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
Yeah, basically the Scrum team is self-organized one. They know what to do. That's how they have to change. So that's why Scrum is very easy. The Scrum guide is only 14 pages. You can master it easily. But when you practice it, it is very difficult. It needs more time and more coaching also. You can talk with your seniors about this. Some agile coaches you can talk in your organization. They will help you out also.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you, Jaswinder. Thank you, Vaishali, for the questions. Anyone else, guys? Do you have any questions?
Yeah, I have a question for Geeta. Hello, Geeta.
Yeah, Venkateshwari, please go ahead.
Geeta, I have a doubt, Geeta. I am a fresher and I have joined in a customer support job. Like customers raising a question, doubt, or something issues with them, and like whom should I go along with? Customer, because they are the end user and they are also part of us. That is what our company has started. And should I go with the customer completely or should I go with my manager? Can you please advise me on that?
Venkateshwari, can you repeat your question?
Like I am a beginner and also a fresher. I have joined in a customer support job. So I just want advice from you. If I have like a customer is coming to me and raising a query or something issues he is discussing with me, and how should I handle that without letting my
Yeah, actually, I can assume that you are a product owner and your team is a developer and the customer is a stakeholder. So you have to take up sides of your team, of your developers team only, because you are representing them to the customer.
Thank you.
Did I answer your question?
Yeah. You mean to say that like I should support the customer as well as I should not make my company to come down also. That is what you're trying to say, right?
You need to display the work, whatever your team has done, you have to display to the customer. So you have to take a position in the your team side, developer side, you are going to talk actually. That's how
Sure, Geeta.
that's how the product owner role is actually, because you are the front face for the
Okay.
customers, right? So I'll consider you as a
Yes,
product owner.
Geeta.
So product owner will be
Okay.
collaborating with the stakeholders who are present outside, and they will be collaborating inside the organization with the developers. So when developers comes up with an increment, or they come up with a product, a prototype, anything. So the as a product owner, you have to be in your team side and you have to display the work to the customers outside.
Okay. Okay, Geeta. Thank you for the answer.
So basically, when somebody is not listening to the Scrum Master, I will not listen to Scrum. I will not follow the Scrum. It is not that we should, forcefully ask them to follow it. We have to give them the time and ask some powerful questions. Don't ask open-ended questions like yes or no. How do you feel? What do you think about? How can we improve? And what will help you? What change in this organization will help you to attend the daily Scrum? So all those powerful questions the Scrum Master should ask the individual team member, so that the team member will open up slowly. They will open up. So it's a basic trust the Scrum Master has to build to implement the Scrum successfully.
When it comes to any of the organizations following Agile or Scrum, they are saying. But what I found in many of the interviews, also in all across, that they are asking for the Scrum Master to play the role of a project manager, or sometimes the product owner playing the role of a project manager. So in that case, what is the ideal way? We should be having 3 persons, I guess. Like project owner will be different, PO will be different, and Scrum Master should be different. And when it comes to the developer team, if this 3 designation are like mixed folded, or 2 people playing the role, here what happening, like developer team is reporting to some project manager in their appraisals. So it is somewhat like hammering the process of agile. They are like dominating the team and not allow it to make the stand
I
up
understand.
within the
Yeah.
15 minutes. So what could be the ideal way we can suggest for the organization where we have like mixed roles to be
Yeah,
done?
yeah. I understand your question, Vaishali. It's like very normal. Many organization Scrum Master is facing this issue. First of all, there is no manager accountability inside the Scrum framework. Manager lies outside of the Scrum framework. Maybe appraisal will be done by the manager, but the Scrum project, Scrum deliverables or increment will not have any manager to manage the work. So, but appraisal can be done by a manager who will, for example, these developers may belong to different team. Actually, one developer can be belong to a QA team, one can be belong to production team, one could be like testing team. So whenever new project comes, they pick the Scrum team, they pick the relevant members from different team and they make as a small tribe community as a Scrum team. So as soon as they finish the work, they have to go back to the team like that. So the appraisal will be done by their level managers, but the project they are working inside the Scrum framework. Ideally, a product owner should not have the Scrum Master hat or the developer hat, because it is very difficult, because Scrum Master role is different and product owner role is different. Then the organization or the institution is not following the true Scrum. There is no hybrid Scrum or hybrid Scrum. No. It is only one word Scrum. There is no word hybrid Scrum. When the organization says it follows Scrum framework, for a particular project is concerned, only the Scrum team can work on that. Manager cannot enter into the circle. And if you want to switch on between the 2 roles, for example, Scrum Master role and product owner, you can do that, but you have to be very careful. When you wear the Scrum Master hat, you should worry on the processes, framework, okay, the discipline of the team, everything. When you wear the hat of the product owner, you have to think about the product or the increment, stakeholders requirement, value, minimal viable product, or how you can add value to the product. So, so you can interchange the roles, but you have to be very careful. And additionally, the team also will be confused. For example, as a Scrum Master, you are talking something. Immediately you are switching on to product owner, team will be confused. Okay, what Vaishali is talking about as a product owner now or as a Scrum Master now. So that kind of confusions are prone to come. Ideally, it is not advisable to mix the roles. And if the management is saying the word manager, it is no more a Scrum team. So it is advisable when you follow Scrum, you follow it 100%. Don't follow bits and pieces of Scrum because it will not help. Sorry.
You mean we can like escalate this matter to the leadership? That could be done by the Scrum Master, right?
Yeah, basically the Scrum Master is a change agent. The Scrum Master should develop a rapport with the management and explain the management actually. So there's no manager role here. The role should not be interchanged. The role is individualized actually. One person cannot play the role of the other.
But I found the Scrum Master is reports to the project manager. So there also that Scrum Master get like dominated by the project manager not to do all the right things. All these things pressure I find in many of the organizations.
Yeah, so you being the Scrum Master, no, it is your responsibility to explain the Scrum. What is a correct Scrum framework actually, and based on some value addition in your previous company or previous projects, how the excellent framework helped to get the good results or value, that you can try to explain them and you can educate them. Just do one simple training on the Scrum framework to everyone, so they will start understanding. So that is why I say. Individual team cannot be as a Scrum team. The entire organization has to have the mindset. Entire organization has to support the Scrum Master. Otherwise, this transformation will be very difficult, and there will not be any meaning. If you follow Scrum, follow entire things like accountabilities. 3 accountabilities are there, like product owner, Scrum Master, the developers, and 3 artifacts are there, like product backlog, sprint backlog, and the increment. And also we have like 5 events, right, in the Scrum. Like the sprint itself is a container event, sprint planning, daily Scrum, review, retrospective. All those things you have to fix it actually. Once you fix the framework, you cannot change it. Like a photo frame, you cannot change the photo frame, right? You can change the photos inside and out actually. This framework has to be intact. Otherwise, a spray like you can compare the framework as a, in our villages, like our native places, for some plants like creepers, they put some iron rod framework or wooden sticks actually, so that the creeper will adapt into the framework and they will grow. If there is no framework, the creeper cannot grow properly and there won't be any flowers at all. Like that, the Scrum framework is an essential heartbeat of the Scrum team. Yeah, so if the framework is compromised, then you cannot enjoy the benefits of the Scrum. This Scrum Master should be able to coach the entire organization. It is a very slow process, as you can see in the image. So initially the problem will be there. So finally they will attain one status where they can start trusting the Scrum.
Ma'am, as you mentioned, like it might take 3 to 6 months to get adopted to the Scrum.
Definitely. Yeah.
By that time, the project will be gone with the negativity, like no result.
Yeah. But you can start giving small trainings to your team and to the management also. Sometimes lack of knowledge could be one of the resistance. As I mentioned in my earlier slides, no, lack of knowledge also could be one of the resistance. So enough knowledge. So conduct like frequent trainings once in a month or once in 3 months, like that.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So guys, we are planning more webinars with Geeta in coming months. So please visit KnowledgeHut website for the webinar updates, where all the webinars are displayed. So you can get registered for them and you can join the webinar, and you can learn many such.
Yeah, I'm planning to give one webinar on great Scrum Master. Well, already Scrum Master is best one. How to become a great Scrum Master. I'm reading some very good books actually to present all these details. In my next webinar, I can share the list of books that a Scrum Master can read and understand the concepts very well.
Yes, soon we are displaying the webinar for September also. Okay, and please get registered and do join the webinar. Okay, thank you everyone for joining us and giving your time to join our webinar, and it was great interacting with everyone. So thank you, Geeta, for taking your time and running through the webinar.
Thank you, Soumya, and all the attendees for giving your time to listen to my webinar. So any questions you can write to KnowledgeHut also, I can answer your questions. And the next webinar, I will give you some, as I told, some list of important books that help me to gain more knowledge. So I can share with you all. It is really good actually, and you can get the free copies down. You can download free in the internet also. Yeah.
Yeah,
Sure.
thank you and have a great weekend.